What if you could submit your kids to a lie detector test of sorts, put them in a special room where you could see if they will lie or tell the truth? These kids have all been told not to turn around in their chairs, not to peek at the toy on the table when the grown-up leaves the room, but time after time after time, kids will peek. 80% of them will peek within seconds. And then when the grown-up returns to the room and asks if the child peeked, the kids will lie.
When I was out of the room, did you turn around to look at what the toy was? No. So what do you
That is a lie.
Did you turn around and peek at the toy while I was gone? No. Oh, okay.
Another lie.
Did you turn around to look at what the toy was? No.
Lie after lie after lie. In fact, 74% of kids between the ages of 4 and 7 who peek will lie about it.
The room, did you turn around to look at what the toy was? No.
These are absolutely not bad children. These are very typical children. It is a natural, normal development that children will occasionally tell lies.
Lying in kids is normal, natural? Well, yes, lying is a positive developmental milestone, according to Professor Victoria Talwar and her team of research assistants at Montreal's McGill University. They are studying how lying fits into normal brain development.
It's part of normal development, and understanding the difference between what's true and convincing someone else of an altered truth, it actually really takes a lot of intelligence to do that.
Intelligence? Kids who lie are smart? Well, in a way, yes.
The phrase kids lying sounds like, it just instinctively sounds like a bad thing. But in your lab, I get the sense that you're kind of neutral about whether it's good or bad for kids to lie.
The fact is, lying is not a good behavior. It's very clear in society we don't like people to lie. On the other hand, lying is a good thing in that it's a byproduct of a positive development in children. So when we see lying in children, it is actually a marker of this ability to understand someone else's perspective and what's going through other people's mind. Which is a good thing, because it's really important part of our social communication. To be able to communicate effectively with people, to understand what they're thinking, what they know, makes us better communicators, and also...
And out of that can grow empathy and
sympathy.
But it's interesting that you're saying that it seems developmentally that what we think of as good abilities, like being able to sympathize and to empathize and to communicate, that the route to that passes through the phase of figuring out how to tell a good lie.
Yes, it's like all the skills that you need that are very important for this positive development are also skills that can be used to tell a lie. So what you have is that it really is a marker of this increasing cognitive sophistication in children's development and in their complexity of thought.
Measuring that complexity of thought is tricky. After all, how do you really know if a person is lying? You can't ask them if they're lying because they could lie to you. So Dr. Talwar designed this experiment.
So this is the child. The child sits here.
The child sits here.
And do you call yourself a tester in that?
Researcher.
Researcher, okay.
Yep, the researcher sits across here.
And over your shoulder.
And over here is the hidden camera.
Okay, so
which
from
captures
outside.
the child's behavior. It shoots this way, capturing over the researcher's shoulder.
So I'm looking at it this angle, I just see a reflection,
That's right.
but now looking back the other way, this is actually me on the camera that
That's
you
right.
record everything on.
That's right.
The kids play a simple game in order to win a prize. They have to face the wall, and based only on the sounds they hear, they have to guess what the toy on the table is. Sirens, a police car, crying, a baby, and then comes the real test.
And we leave a toy that makes no noise, has no sound that you can press, and we put that on the table, and with it we put a different clue, an audio clue. So this time the audio clue has nothing to do, in this case, with SpongeBob.
So there's no way that sound can lead
That's
you
right.
to SpongeBob.
There's no way you can guess what it is.
So
just by listening.
if SpongeBob is your answer, it means that you peeked.
It means that you peeked.
I have to imagine, now that I'm sitting in this room, in this little table, picturing myself at 5 years old, and the grown-up leaves the room, and I know there's a prize at stake if I can guess. The temptation must be enormous.
We create that situation because then they can choose whether they confess up to doing it or whether they conceal and lie about doing it.
It's a fascinating experiment, watching these researchers, who in a way aren't all that honest themselves about what's really going on here.
So Jane, there's a phone call for you.
She's on the phone?
Okay.
They're lying.
Okay, I'll be right back, Cindy.
And watching the parents secretly watch their kids lie. There's a real sense of drama here. Leia, who is 4, and Aleko, 6, were 2 recent subjects. Leia went first, and the interesting thing about watching her dad, John, watch her, he's a police officer, and his specialty is interrogation.
Will it upset you to see her do that, or either of you kids?
No. Well, I don't know. I don't know about my wife. I don't think it'll upset me.
Leia peeks, but when asked if she peeked,
Did you turn around and peek at the toy while I was gone? You did? Okay, what do
then
you
she
think
tells
it is?
the truth. That has less to do with the fact that her dad is a cop than it does with the fact that she's a kid. Most young kids don't yet know how to lie well. They have yet to learn how to do it.
So you've got to be fairly sophisticated to be able to lie.
Yes, you have to be able to remember everything you've said before, so you keep consistency in your lie, you can't be caught out.
You have to put yourself also in the other person's shoes. The person
Yes.
who suspects you, you've got to think about what they're thinking and figure out how to dodge that.
Yeah, you have to be able to think, okay, so they think that I did this, therefore they're going to expect my answers to be along these lines. So they have to keep a representation, not only what they really did, but what the other person thinks they did and what that person's expectations would be. And so they have to keep it requires a lot of mental flexibility and also be able to keep sort of this alternate representation of an alternate reality in their mind to keep that story consistent.
Stay turned around. I'll be right back, okay?
Now look at Aleko, Leia's brother. He is 6. He peeks, and when asked, well, he knows he's on the verge of getting caught and probably figures it's better not to say anything. Not quite a lie, but he's definitely weighing his options. Lie or confess. In the end, choosing to take the 5th.
We have to be careful that we don't come, that we don't say the child, oh, it's terrible the child lies, and remember that, you know, adults are doing it too. That it's an adult behavior more so than a child behavior. Children are more likely to actually be blunt truth tellers compared to adults. But the other thing is that children often are picking up on the little lies that we're telling.
At some level, you think we're all learning it from our parents?
Yeah, I think for the most part that kids, you know, they have that innocence and they slowly lose it because of us. I mean, everything's a learned behavior, but you know, but you try and teach them as best as you can, and
it's just not so clear cut.
no,
as we
it's
want
not.
it to be.
It's not.
So what does a parent do, especially considering this little note from one of Talwar's research assistants?
When kids realize that they're about to get in trouble and they're going to get punished for whatever it is they have done, they're more likely to lie.
What we try and tell parents is, you know, when you first see your child lying to it, you know, don't. The natural reaction often is to react emotionally, to be upset, oh my goodness, my child's just lied to me. But to realize that, you know, it's a natural part of the development that they will try and do this, and that really one should talk to them calmly and rationally about the importance of not lying, and also modeling that behavior in ourselves, because they learn from our behavior and how we act. And also,
That means we can never lie in front of our children?
well, it means that if you want them to be telling the truth, then it's important that you're not turning around and lying all over the place as well.
And there you have the key piece of advice for all of us grown-ups.
Good job.
For Nightline in Montreal, I'm John Donvan.
Good things just got better. Introducing an all-new third hour of Good Morning America.
Welcome to Good Morning America Now.
Good Morning America Now. Good Morning America Now.
On ABC News Now. Get your Good Morning America now at abcnewsnow.com.